Hi, I'm Turtle Teitelbaum from Young Entertainment, and I'm here with Cailey Fleming from If. What was your favorite part about If? I saw it yesterday. It totally blew me away. I can tell you there was a young 7-year-old girl next to me, and there was an older gentleman on the other side of me, and they both had tears in their eyes by the end of the movie. So
Aw.
it's
Oh, that's so
touching.
sweet.
Yeah. So
Thank
what
you
was
so
your favorite
much.
part? Yeah.
There were so many things. I mean, we shot for 3 months, and basically felt like I was walking in a Disneyland every day for three
Wow.
months. So it was just a really great experience. There were so many different parts of it. You know, sometimes we were in a retirement home, sometimes we were in Coney Island. So it was just it was a very unique experience, and I'm just very grateful. I can't really pick.
That's awesome. So now, John Krasinski was both a writer, director, and producer, and also acted with you in scenes. How was it dealing with him juggling so many different hats?
It was really interesting. I have never worked with someone who acted in their own movie before. So I was really curious to see how that worked. But I don't know how he did it all. I know even acting is just a lot. So I don't know how he did everything all at once. But he's amazing. He's like a superhero to do all of that. So I
Uh,
was just in awe of watching him. And I think I learned a lot just by watching him do what he does.
yeah, I think he is a superhero in some other roles, right?
Yeah, literally.
um, and how was it different working with Ryan Reynolds?
I loved working with Ryan. Obviously, a lot of my scenes were with him, and everyone knows him as this really funny, hilarious guy, which he is. And you see that a lot in our movie, but he's also very, very sweet. You know, he has a big heart. And I think you get to see that a lot more in If than you get to do in other movies that he's done. So I'm really excited.
That's amazing. And so, your first day on set, was there anything particular that scared you or anything you had to get over, or anything that surprised you, or something amazing you remember just from your first day?
Well, I was so nervous, I remember, which I mean, I think anybody would be. I was just so excited, so I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. And I just remember being so nervous because, you know, I've never had a lead role before. This is my first time. So that was very nerve-wracking. And then, you know, this was my dream project, so I wanted it to all go smoothly. But I mean, I had nothing to be nervous about. I walked in and I immediately felt relief. I was comforted by everyone. Our crew is amazing, and I think that makes a huge difference, you know. And everyone was very excited, and I've never seen a crew that excited to work, I don't think. So it was just a great first day.
That's awesome. So, how did it work filming with the ifs? Was it all green screen? Did you have someone to work off of? How did the mechanics of that all work?
That's another thing I was curious about whenever I found out that most of our call sheet was not going to be there. Um, John, our director, is just absolutely incredible. He didn't want to do anything on green screen or as little as possible. I don't think I ever used green screen. So he wanted to do it practically. So for some of the ifs that are in the movie the most, we had actors there and they would know their dialogue so that we could play off of them, have something to look at, an eye line. And then sometimes we had puppets or stuffed animals, and John would John would get behind those and use them and play around with them and make us laugh with them. And that there's actually a lot of scenes in the movie where he was the one behind them. And then sometimes we would have like cardboard cutouts or pictures of them, but it was very rarely like a tennis ball or a piece of tape.
Oh, awesome. So obviously the ifs are this idea of imaginary friends. Did you have any imaginary friends as a kid?
I didn't have an if, but I wish I did. I can have one now, but I feel like all of the ones from the movie, I've gained them, so now I have a ton of them.
That's awesome. And did you have a particularly favorite if from the movie or one that you like for any particular reason?
My favorite is Louis. He's just a cute little teddy bear, and he's very warm and loving, and he's wise. He gives great advice. But every time I watch the movie, he's like my favorite, but every time I watch the movie, I have another favorite. The last time I watched it, Uni was my favorite, the unicorn. She is
Uh,
so funny to me. Every time she comes on the screen, I laugh.
yeah, I liked Lewis too. He's like an old grandpa, like just sitting at Coney
Yeah.
Island. Did anything funny happen off screen that made you chuckle or broke up a scene or any bloopers that stood out to you?
All the time, every day, we had bloopers, especially when Ryan was there. it was over for everyone. There's a chunk of the movie kind of in the middle where we interview a bunch of the ifs,
Hmm.
and we did all of those at once. So we would do one, and then we would be done with it, and we would do another one. So, I was sitting next to Ryan, and obviously Louis, but Louis wasn't there. So it was kind of just me and Ryan there. And he kept throwing out all of this stuff. He was just throwing out lines, making jokes, and I absolutely could not keep it together. I think we had to do it so many times. When we did reshoots, we reshot it too because I just could not stop laughing. But it kind of felt like that every day. So every day anyone was there, I was falling out of my chair laughing.
And how did John handle it when Ryan was making you laugh? Or they're both such funny guys with such funny backgrounds. Was it a lot having both of these funny guys, one behind the camera and one acting with all simultaneously?
Well, it would be really hard because I would try and stay in the scene while Ryan's over here. He's so professional and he's not laughing at all, and he's so hilarious. And then, I would try to keep it in, and then John would be the one behind the camera laughing, and he tries to cover it up and he tries to be quiet, but I could hear him, and that's when I would lose it because of him.
You could hear him, you could sense that. But that
Yes.
sounds like the camaraderie on this film was really great and that it made it a good vibe to work in.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome. What do you think was the most challenging thing about being this character, or most challenging thing about doing this movie?
I think I'd have to say that filming with the ifs. I think it was a lot. I think it was as easy as possible, as easy as it could have been. We got very lucky. I know I've never been on a set like that before, and I've never filmed with imaginary friends before. But I guess I was expecting pieces of tape and like tennis balls and things like that. But thankfully, we didn't have to do that. And John was very, what's the word? He was very, he wanted to make sure that we were as comfortable as possible. And he knows what it's like because he's an actor. So I think we just got very lucky. So, but I think that might be the hardest thing.
That's great. Yeah. They say sometimes that an actor's director is can be one of the best to work with, but also the hardest because they know what the role of an actor is. So that's a
Mm.
really unique and great
Yeah.
experience, I think, to have. Um, what was there anything that you did outside of filming to help build that relationship with Ryan?
That's a good question. I mean, we hung out on set as much as possible. Obviously, since I was 15 when we shot the movie, so I had to do school all the time, which, education is
Important.
good for
Yeah.
you. So we talked to each other as much as possible, and to kind of build that relationship. But it was really nice in between takes. We were able to talk to each other, and I think our chemistry really comes out on the screen.
And Cailey, I think I have one last question. What was it that inspired you to become an actress?
I've wanted to be an actress since I was 4. And I told my mom I wanted to be on Disney Channel. And I wanted to do the little wand Mickey head that they did. I think I used to do that in my bedroom by myself. But
Nice.
I guess I've always just loved it. I didn't start acting until I was 7. So there was a few years in between where I kept telling her I wanted to do it. But of course, every 4-year-old wants to be on Disney Channel. So, but I finally got into it and I love it and I still love it. And this movie just kind of re-sparked my love for it. I didn't realize how much I loved it until I stepped on the set.
Cailey, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your time here today.
You're watching Young Entertainment.